Stephen D. Jones, on this illustrious and significant date of October 2nd, already a special day because it is your birthday and your 25th wedding anniversary with your lovely and charming wife, Paula. We add another milestone. You have been chosen by your peers to lead this association for the coming year. By placing their trust in you, your fellow Code Council members have shown their confidence that you will faithfully discharge that trust. I know you will endeavor to conduct the affairs of the association at all times in a manner that will promote our public safety mission with constant attention to the good of the Code Council and our members. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the presence of the members.
In the presence of the members.
Of this organization here assembled.
Of this organization here assembled.
I do solemnly promise.
I do solemnly promise.
On my sacred honor.
On my sacred honor.
To perform the duties.
To perform the duties.
Of the office of President.
The office of President.
Faithfully.
Faithfully.
Strictly.
Strictly.
And impartially.
And impartially.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my limited ability.
Stephen D. Jones, I declare you President of the International Code Council Board of Directors.
I'm going to start tonight by saying thank you. It's very humbling to stand before you. As most of you know, I don't like to get up and speak before adoring crowds of people. I prefer to be more introspective. I tend to sit in the corner, absorbing other people's thoughts so I can reflect on them later, usually over a beer or two. Having said that, I can assure you that I will be brief. I was going to say, I promise you I will be short, but that's Whitney's job. Where is my little cowboy? You complete me. I just want to tell you a quick story about Jeff. He and I got on the board the same time in 2007 in Reno. After our first meeting, we were wandering the streets aimlessly somewhere, and I said something antagonistic to him. I don't remember what, but it probably had something to do with his hat. And he turned and asked me, when was the last time I got my ass kicked by a midget? True story. From that point on, I knew he and I were going to be really good friends. So Jeff, I want to publicly thank you for your years of service to our members. The only thing Jeff did better than being a board member was being a friend. And in my book, Jeff, you're 10 feet tall. Now, for the record, I only have Jeff beat by about a half an inch. But when you're Irish, every little bit helps. Sorry, honey. Okay, let's be honest. How many are rethinking the election already? Okay, now I'm supposed to say something insightful in front of this assembled group. Let's see. I have several presidential appointees, captains of industry, foreign dignitaries, my current and former state directors, deputy director, both of my administrators, my municipal director, my mother, wife, and family. No pressure at all. I seem to recall that when you're nervous about speaking in front of a large crowd of people, you're supposed to pretend that the audience is in their underwear. Well, as I look around this crowd, the immortal words of the lovely former ICC First Lady, Tisa Bell Brothers, rings in my head. Cash, bless your heart, aren't you special? Is that pretty good? There you go. So here comes the serious part of the speech. I want to first thank the members for their unyielding support of our board and staff. You have an amazingly dedicated group of individuals that are representing you. And as you know, we have gone through some difficult and thought-provoking times over the past few years. I want to publicly affirm the board's total support of our CEO, Dominic Sims, and his incredibly talented staff. The management of ICC is in very capable hands, and we are now again heading in the right direction. As we continue to move forward, we also need to reflect on the accomplishments of our previous boards and presidents. Their leadership and guidance have forged a path that will ensure the success of our association for many, many years to come. I also want to applaud our newest and returning board members and officers. After discussing with President Peaster, hazing will be reinstated and fresh goats have been ordered. Look how happy Jim Brown is. Sorry, Mr. Brown, you no longer can take them home with you. Talk about a learning curve. So get ready for some interesting times ahead. To our strategic founding partners and friends, I want to assure you of our unwavering commitment to renewing and expanding our relationships. It is my hope that you have seen our re-engaged board and staff as we look forward to even future and greater days ahead. I expect you will challenge us to do good work, and together we will all succeed to greater heights. This conference would not have been possible without literally hundreds, if not thousands, of hours that were spent by Jackie Klaus and her staff preparing for this event. The actual planning began while we were still out in Portland last year, and Jerry Sanzone and the other representatives from Florida will be meeting with us later to help get their conference in Fort Lauderdale next year rolling as well. But staff did not do it alone. As only the second president to get elected in his home state, I got to see firsthand the nonstop activity from the officers, directors, and members of the New Jersey building officials and our other affiliate ICC chapters. I am absolutely amazed at how much got accomplished this past year to make this event such a huge success. For those of you who attended the New Jersey Host Chapter event on Monday night, you know that the bar has been raised, and New Jersey code officials, along with our New Jersey brothers, once again set the standard on how to party. A special thank you goes out to President Jim Zacconi and his committee for their exceptional work and dedication in making New Jersey proud and this event a huge success. Absolutely. Now, before I forget, I was approached by more than one member who surprisingly commented on how it worked out so I could get elected in my own home state. Okay, you're right. But I did not act alone. I want to thank Greg Johnson for winning his election and beating me in Orlando in 2006. So that the timing would be right for me to get elected here in the Northeast. Greg, thank you for keeping our little plan a secret for all these years. But if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. But Greg was not the only one who helped me along this path. I can't believe I've been working as a code official for almost 22 years. When I first started taking classes to get my licenses, I was 26, about 70 pounds lighter, and I had a full head of hair. Now, just like Shariar mentioned the other day, remembering Dupe with hair, I've been doing this so long I remember when Pfeiffer had hair. Now, you know I've been doing this a long time. I took my first code class back in 1988 with a gentleman named William Howard. Bill was a unique individual. In New Jersey, he was known as the President Maker, because at that point, he had taught most of the presidents of our state association. One evening, Bill pulled me aside and asked me what I was doing with my life. I told him I was working as a construction manager in New York City. He shook his head and told me I was making a big mistake in my life and that I should make a career out of code enforcement. I thought he was crazy because I was really making good money at the time. So when I finally took his advice, left New York, and got a part-time job in 1992 in Florham Park for $12,500 a year, my wife thought I was crazy. However, Bill was right. It was the best decision I have ever made, and I've never looked back. Bill is here with us tonight, and I want to thank him for making a huge difference in my life. Bill, thank you. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of having several supportive bosses, When I started in Summit back in 1993, Gary Lewis told me to apply for committee service. I had no idea what he was talking about, but I applied, and somehow I got put on a plumbing interp committee. Hell, I didn't know anything about plumbing, except that you know what flows downhill, and if you're a plumber, you don't bite your fingernails. But apparently I did okay, because from there I went to a building interp committee, then the means of egress committee, then the building code council, and CTC. I loved my years attending the hearings and testifying on changes, and during that time, Dave Collins was a constant force in pointing me in the right direction and challenging me to do good. Eventually, Henry Green reached out to me and suggested that I run for a board seat. Well, as you heard, it took me more than once, but I finally got on the board. Once there, my first out-of-state travel adventure was to the great state of Arkansas. President Bailey had a huge sense of humor. Now, you don't know scared until you land in Little Rock at 11 o'clock at night and have to drive over to Hot Springs praying your car doesn't break down because there isn't a sign of life around anywhere. But not only was Wally there waiting for me, he had assigned Brother Terrence Lee Cobb as my board mentor. I couldn't have asked for better. He taught me the fine points of eating naked wings and how to call in the hogs. It was a wonderful experience. And the point to this is that I have been fortunate to have had mentors who pointed me in the right direction and made sure I didn't screw up too badly. But isn't that really the key? Let's face it, this is truly the best job ever. And unlike architects or engineers who usually choose to pursue their respective careers, code officials tend to come into this business as a secondary thought. That's wrong, and we need to change that. Take a look around this room. What do you see? There are not too many people here that are under 40. And why is that? Because we're not bringing new blood into our profession. However, I was extremely pleased to meet Tom Peterson from Brigham City, Utah last night. He's 30, and he represents the potential leadership and new interest in this association. Tom, are you here? Thank you. My challenge to you is a simple one. Mentor someone. Seek out new talent, be an inspiration, and make a difference. I know that by and large, we as code professionals do not seek the limelight. But like the Bill Howards and the Gary Lewises and the Dave Collins and the Henry Greens and the Terry Cobbs, the list is endless. You can make a difference in someone's life. Be that spark, light that passion, lead us into the future. While I had the good fortune of mentors that looked out for me, I also had supportive administrations that for some reason got it. They saw the value in what I do, and they have supported me for the long haul. I have been very blessed to have both my administrations, directors, and governing bodies give me their full support, and for that, I thank them. The running joke in my office is that I am never there. In fact, when I first started in Millburn, I was presented with a milk carton with my face on it. Absolutely true, it sits on my shelf. It wasn't very pretty. In addition to having a supportive administration, I could not have done nearly half the things that I've been involved if it weren't for my respective staffs. They pick up the slack, they cover for me when I'm out, and basically make me look good. It's a tough job, and I can't thank them enough. Jerry, I know you're here. Thank you for everything. I have always told my children, who are here in the front tonight, don't ever be afraid to lead. Volunteer, step up. There are leaders in this audience sitting out there, good leaders. I can see the talent. Embrace the challenge, and let me be perfectly clear while I stand here. There is never a good time to get involved. It's just like being married or having kids. If you wait till you're ready, you will never do it, and you'll be too tired to make a change. And don't tell me you're too busy, because you know what they say, if you want it done, you give it to a busy person. Think about it, get involved, make a difference. So where are we going? Our board is dynamic and involved, and we are looking at the fact that the way we do business is changing. To that point, Vice President Tomberlin will continue to chair the Vision 2023 committee created by President Peaster. The committee is tasked with evaluating several aspects of our business plan, including the evaluation of the code development and adoption schedule. We hear you, and we are working on it. I can assure you that this is being addressed, and we as the board understand the importance of this facet of our business model. Together, we will look to see how our industry may evolve over the next 10 years. We will not be performing our jobs the same way we do in the next decade, and embracing technology to the fullest advantage will be the key in adapting our future needs, not only in the code development process, but also as a way of enticing a newer group of code professionals to get involved. You have already seen the board's commitment in rolling out CDP Access. It is going to change the entire code development process for the better. In addition, I will be a strong proponent for revising and expanding our overall educational opportunities for not only existing code officials, but for the next generation as well. As many of you are aware, I have been a strong proponent of the high school technology program initiated by Jim Elwood in Maryland and supported by our government relations staff, headed by our Senior Vice President of Government Relations, Sarah Yerkes. As of yesterday, there are now 9 states representing 33 schools participating in this exciting program, and not including 2 that are pending right here in New Jersey. In fact, yesterday afternoon, I received an email from Jim Elwood indicating that all of the technical high schools in Rhode Island have agreed to sign on to this program. That is huge. Congratulations, Jim. As this program continues to expand, our board and staff will pursue both private and corporate sponsorships who see the advantage of educating and empowering a new generation of code professionals. Continuing along the same vein, I have already spoken with immediate past President Peaster and our CEO Dominic Sims in order to convene a summit meeting early in the first quarter of 2014 to discuss the process by which we can finally help to establish a degree program in code enforcement. Yeah, absolutely. We are all professionals, and it is time that we are able to capitalize on the rich training that code enforcement opportunities provide by expanding it into an ultimate degree. And I'm looking for help through the AIA to accomplish that. I welcome all who want to participate in making this dream a reality, and I will keep you informed as the dates and details firm up. As we approach the one-year anniversary, let's talk for a minute about Superstorm Sandy and the devastation that New Jersey and our surrounding states endured. Based on the information provided by FEMA, over 37,000 primary residences and almost an additional 10,000 rental units in New Jersey sustained varying degrees of damage or destruction. It was through the tireless work of the code professionals and emergency service personnel at the federal, state, and local levels that we were able to prevail and recover. While there are hundreds of stories out there, I just wanted to point out one code official in particular, Bob Berlow, the construction official of Union Beach, whose community was devastated. Just over 900 homes were destroyed and hundreds more sustained damage. Bob and his staff kept his office open 7 days a week so his residents could get back on their feet, even while his own home was destroyed. That's dedication, and that's what we do as code professionals. So I want to thank Bob, who I think is hiding behind this column over here, and his staff for the countless other professionals out there who realize that this is much more than a job, it's a calling. In closing, I'm almost done. I want to just mention how lucky I have been to have served as an officer under Ron, Bill, and the great Sonny Dillon. The amount of dedication and selflessness exhibited by these men and their boards time and again will never be fully known by all of our members. But I can tell you that I have never met a finer group that I'm proud to call my friends and brothers. And what can I say about the one and only Sal DeSimone? My antagonist, my sounding board, my bodyguard, and the most loyal and misunderstood guy I have ever known. I love you. You know, I have traveled so much over the years that my daughter is convinced that I have a second family somewhere. And honey, you're right. They're sitting out here in front of you. Because of getting involved, I have had the pleasure of visiting places I never would have seen on my own. But better yet, I have met some of the most amazing people in the world, because it doesn't matter where we are, we all have the same problems. Our world is getting smaller every day. And there is only one person left I need to thank, and that is my beautiful and understanding wife. Today is our 25th anniversary, as was the Drexlers yesterday, and the Duplers as well. I robbed the cradle when we first started dating back in 1984. I was 21, she was just 18. But she has stood by me through missed birthdays or anniversaries or any other event, and she has never complained. So Sal, as much as I love you, I love her even more, plus she has better legs. I've seen your legs. I consider myself a very fortunate man, and I thank all of you for listening to me ramble on. So let's enjoy the rest of the evening and make the most of our time together. Thank you.